Cool. So 3, 2, 1, let's go. Actually, there's a loading screen at the start. Just go anyway.
Wasted like 5 seconds here, geez.
Okay, yeah. These. So on my laptop, I used to play this a lot on my laptop. The loading screens would actually be half a minute. On this PC, it's a bit faster. Sticky keys.
God, I'm scared.
This is the most horrifying.
Oh god.
Dude, what am I even doing?
What happened?
Yeah, they were turned off before.
Oh, did you lose any time or?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, was it pause when you were off screen?
It shouldn't be an issue. We'll see. Yeah, I got my tools. It's useless. No, it's not useless. It's my companion in this dangerous journey. Yeah, this intro cutscene takes like 50 seconds and there's nothing you can do other than just mess around. And get sticky keys. The biggest run killer of any PC game. Yeah, fun fact about this game, you can actually go out of bounds. You know, you see that pile of rubble over there? You can use that to go out of bounds already. It takes about 7 seconds. Probably one of the fastest games to go out of bounds in. Anyway, at the start, you know, this room is kind of broken, but I'm not going to make use of any glitches. I've experimented with it a lot. Like, try to go out of bounds and just reach the ending section a bit more quickly. It doesn't really help. It's not faster. So this is probably the only room that you're going to see that is not broken at all. That doesn't actually have any, like, cool tricks. Other than jumping up the stairs, which is faster somehow.
Do you want me to ask first for donations or just should I do some right now?
I guess this is pretty much the only time in the next 40 minutes where I'm not going to shut up, so
Alright.
knock yourself out. You've got about 30 seconds left.
Alright, going fast. I got $100 from Robert Schneider. Really looking forward to the Amnesia run as always. Also can't wait for the Twilight Princess run. Put this towards whatever Adam wants.
Ooh. I'll decide on that later on.
Alright, we'll start banking. $10.
George Foreman's KO boxing.
Needs to be on the schedule.
$10 for Zachary Porter. First time donating, but I've been waiting for the Amnesia stream.
Nice.
AK's last speedrun of Amnesia is what made me realize how stupid I was of being scared of the game. So thank you, Adam, for making me realize I'm a huge baby and put this to whatever he wants.
There is nothing to be scared of, absolutely nothing. Yeah, you might have noticed that I went into that room and then just backed out straight away. It's because I don't need the lantern. The lantern is for pussies. People who play the game for the first time. Instead, I just use a pile of rubble to get it out of bounds. The developers actually left a little surprise here. So if you look at that sign, it says "Hello" in Swedish. I just managed to clip back in bounds. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to go out of bounds again, just to show you the actual route.
Keep whipping through these fast again. $100 from Elliot Cox. Speed ran home after work to catch more of the marathon. Keep up the good work, guys. Shout out to Sturby.
Okay, and now there's a very simple jump I have to do across this gap, and then just boost my way up. There's loads of invisible walls when you're out of bounds. They're just invisible from one side. And to reach the door here, I have to get past another one of those walls and open up the door from the other side, and miraculously appear on the correct side anyway. This room has a pretty major skip. First of all, I'm going to try and boost my way up onto the upper floor. It's kind of nasty. I actually hate this trick, because it's not that reliable. I have to use the rubble to just kind of get like consecutive jumps like this, and then you somehow gain a little bit of extra height. It's just enough to put you up there. I use the same kind of technique, i.e. spam jump, to get on top of this pillar. If you spam jump too fast, you will bounce off. That's always lovely. Also, it's a tiny platform, so it's easy to fall off. Okay, here comes the fun part. So there's this kind of window section over there. I'm going to try and jump into that area. Okay, missed it. You have to actually jump forward, do a crouch jump, and then turn around in mid-air, but there's this ceiling which is blocking me off, which makes this jump just atrocious. There we go. So we made it in here. Now I've got a reference point on the ground, so I'm just going to look at that, and now walk back and forth and spam jump. And if I'm lucky, I'll clip out of bounds like this. Voila. And then we go straight to the refinery. We skip the long puzzle where we search for chemicals and such to bake some kind of acid, and just go straight to the next area. Hey, long flashback. You've got around 20 seconds, I would say.
$10 from Ryan Marshall. Good luck with your Amnesia run.
There's a good reason for it. But you can
$20 from James Gray. Teachers, you have such a soothing voice. Why aren't you doing coffee commercials?
That is. Stay close. Be careful not
Alright,
to stray.
monster coming up now. It's pretty much the first monster encounter where you can actually, like, be attacked by
You
him.
keep going straight.
I guess on most regular playthroughs you would just kind of be scared and run away. I'm a macho man, I'm just going to run past him, smack the door in his face and then just ignore him. Fun fact, if you grab an item, you will clip through it. It has no collision all of a sudden. Always trying to do a crouch jump there to see if I can get through the gap straight away. It doesn't always work out. And the strawberry jam on the ground really hates me, from the looks of it. The horrifying water part. I purposefully run through the water for a while here, just to make sure that the monster chases me enough. I flip the lever, and he should be coming in sight now. There he is, and I can pass him. And then we just kind of hop around because it's fun. Let's stick to the left-hand side. There's another monster in here. This one's slightly more difficult to dispose of. I have to push an arm into the water like this. Actually, yeah, have a leg as well. Make up your mind. Okay, he's eating that one. And in the meantime, I just grab this valve. And Daniel's hands or arms are really flexible, and he can rotate the valve with ease while running into the door. I don't know how he pulls it off. I wish I could do that. It's pretty cool. Oh dear. There we go. Pick up the hollow needle. And apparently Daniel's a master lockpicker as well, so he just makes his way through that door with ease. This is a nasty room, actually. I'm going to try and do an out-of-bounds clip here a couple of times. Even if I don't get it first try, it's still cool enough to just like retry a few times. The basic setup of this trick is that you boost your way up using this kind of slide. I need to make sure that I build enough height. The monster is probably already inside. Holy crap.
Oh.
Wow, okay, I actually overshot my target and fell through the level. Now, in that case, it's actually faster to just exit the game and reload from the last checkpoint. This trick, if you perform it perfectly, saves around 11 or 12 seconds, but it just looks so damn cool that I want to do it anyway. And hey, I've got a generous estimate here. Plenty of time for this kind of stuff. So let's try this. There's like 4 setups for this trick and they're all horrible. There we go. First try now. So you land on this wall. There's just no collision in that corner, I don't know why. And then instead of running through the water, which is quite slow, you actually lose running speed, you can just run on top of the ceiling and get random boosts from weird geometry. Jump across this gap. That saves an actual, that's an actual shortcut. You don't have to go around that turning. And to clip into bounds, just walk over the ceiling and before you know it, there you are. Right in front of the exit. There's a tiny little boost here I want to try. I rarely get it, but I'm going to give it 2 shots. I'm going to run into this railing here. First try, of course, because marathon.
Nice.
Saves like 4 seconds, but it looks cool. In this room, I'm going to deviate from the actual single segment route quite a bit, because there's one trick that got obsoleted, and it's my favourite trick in pretty much any game. It's the shovel trick. So yeah, every time there's a shovel, you can go out of bounds. You can clip through pretty much anything. All I have to do is put the shovel in a very specific spot. There's no actual great reference for this one. It's not as good as for the original shovel trick, but it should work out anyway. You jump on top, and the physics kind of freak out. The reason why this one is not part of the single segment route is because it's just not exactly reliable enough. As you can see, it just launched me back. What I want it to do is launch me forward, and more ideally, just launch me all the way through the wall. Yeah, I'm using these dots here on the ground as a kind of reference point for it, but it's still, it's difficult to say whether it's actually aligned correctly or not. So it's twitching around like crazy, but not in the correct direction. I'm going to put it slightly further to the back, see if that helps. There we go. And now we clip kind of inside that table and we just jump out. This corner is pretty miraculous. If you punch If you smash a book into this wall hard enough, it will clip through. If you throw a chair at that corner, which I can actually show you guys, it will sometimes get stuck and just twitch around and then, like, fly away explosively. That looked interesting, but you know, you can have more interesting situations here as well. Oh yeah, sometimes it actually gets stuck and it's difficult to move, and then that area is just blocked off. Anyway, all I'm here for is just to pick up this this rod. I'm going to deviate even further from the single segment route and use this rubble to clip out of bounds. This is pretty much a segmented only strat, because if you don't do it perfectly, you're already losing time. All you have to do is crouch, walk to the left there, and bam, you're out of bounds. I don't think there's a single room in this game which does not have an out of bounds trick. A lot of them are completely useless. Really cool, just completely useless. Also, this wall is horrible. Sometimes you don't gain enough height from your jumps and you just get stuck on the ledge. Another reason why this is not that great for single segment runs. Gotta be careful with the door here. Drop down and open up the door while I fall to my death. Next up, the guest room. One of the easiest out of bounds clips is in this room. I'd say it's the second easiest, maybe the third easiest. All you have to do is just jump into this bookcase and in between the wall, and then just kind of twitch around and voila, out of bounds. And then break the glass container, grab the key, and make your way out of here. There's going to be a monster spawn here. Now this guy, you can actually just kind of stay out here and just look at him for a while. Go slowly insane, of course. After a while, he will just run towards the door and miraculously disappear. Sometimes it takes 10 seconds, sometimes it takes more than a minute, so I'm not going to do it this time. Now, compared to AGDQ, the next room, I don't know how many people saw that run, but compared to that run, this next area is going to be quite different. The first section is going to be quite different, at least. I have to combine 3 drill bits here, to just make myself a drill. Or, well, actually, I have to collect them for a later portion of the run. And there's going to be a forced monster encounter. And in the past, I would trigger a flashback to make the monster just walk away, because during flashbacks, monsters ignore you. Instead, I'm going to have him chase me, and he's going to help me out. He's going to be a really nice, friendly fellow, and save me some time. It's a risky strat. I'm not that experienced with it, but it should work out just fine. Okay, so I'm going to trigger the flashback early, over there, and pick up the last drill bits.
Please, let me go. I won't tell anyone.
This room is just pitch black.
I just want to go home.
Okay, there we go. So that triggers the monster spawn. So he's going to be right there. He's to my right. He's going to start chasing me in just a moment. I'm going to grab this barrel and chug it down there. And now I'm going to walk into the barrel. He's going to punch me twice, but I'm not taking any damage because the barrel is protecting me. So you see, the wall has kind of 2 hit points in a sense, and the barrel has 2 hit points. Since I clipped inside of the barrel, the monster punched the barrel and the wall at the same time. Both objects just broke down at the same time as well, and I'm perfectly fine. So that's a new trick compared to the old ones. I don't quite remember who found that trick, but shoutouts to all of the Amnesia runners. They've been working really hard on this game for the past month. Whoa. Then flashbacks. 2 more rods I need to pick up here, and then there's another fixed monster spawn. Lovely guy. I've no time to chat with him though. So these guys are actually faster than I am. They have a higher running speed than I do. So to get away from him, I have to run across the table and take kind of shortcuts and take turns really tightly, because he tends to get stuck on those. And, you know, I've already lost a neck. Yet another monster spawn over here. I can pass by him on the right, slightly faster. Okay, and I think I'm going insane, sadly. So if you walk through the darkness for too long, or if you look at monsters for too long, you actually go insane. It messes with the controls pretty badly. Fortunately, solving puzzles restores your sanity, so I just combine a drill. That counts as a puzzle, and there you go. My controls are no longer ridiculously smooth. that door just opens on its own when you walk over a specific trigger. It's effectively just as fast as running straight towards the door and opening it on your own, but it looks cooler this way. Oh, come on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't want the steam overlay.
It will definitely take care of the vertical part of
Shift Tab is the default hotkey for that. I could have sworn I changed it, but it might be on a different Steam account now.
Yes, the Colosseum of Regent's Park.
This room has out-of-bounds tricks as well, but I won't be using any of them. Fastest solution for this one is down, up, up, down, down, and then you don't have to touch the last rod. Fairly straightforward puzzle. All of these puzzles are pretty straightforward. Second puzzle is to insert the 3 rods in here. You have to do them in a specific order. It's yellow, blue, red, which just so happens to coincide with my inventory order as well. And then there's 3 cogs that you need to put in position. Carrying the cogs slows you down, so it's better to just kind of pick them up and throw them around. Especially considering that you can carry around 2 of them at the same time, in a sense. Okay, got one of them in place already. Let's see if I can get the other one. No, missed that one. Maybe the third one. No. Okay, so there's 3 pieces of coal I need to grab here to fill up the burner. I'm going to fill up my lantern as well, except that I don't have a lantern, because if you look at my inventory, I've filled it up with oil, but there's no lantern. I'm not sure what I filled up then. Maybe my pockets or something. Okay, so that's the coal burner running. Let's fix these things. There we go. Number 1, number 2. And we're done with this room. We've tried very, very hard to skip the whole elevator fixing puzzle. We haven't been able to pull it off yet. If we would be able to skip the whole elevator fixing thing, that would save 6 minutes, roughly, in the run, I think. Maybe slightly less than 6 minutes, but it would be huge. Oh, the jam. So that's the elevator fixed. Now, I'm not particularly fond of elevators, so I won't be taking it. I'm just going to make it leave on its own. I'm like a little kid who presses all the buttons and then just runs off. So that's what I'm doing right now. I have to grab the base and just make it leave on its own. But you know, it's a magical castle, magical elevator, all sorts of magical things, so I just teleport back inside anyway. This is effectively an auto-scroller. Takes around half a minute. And the only fun fact about this entire map is that the elevator is static and the level around it is actually moving.
I'm giving a donation.
You've got time for 1 or 2.
Yay! I have $20 from Richard Dawkins. Put this money to Adam crowd surfing in Amnesia. If he doesn't want to and or already is going to put it in systems.
Wait, what was that?
Crowd surfing.
Crowd surfing. Oh, that's going to be, yeah, I think I know what that person is. I'll give it a shot.
Alrighty.
And so we enter the second chapter of Amnesia. The prison part. This was probably the first part where I actually felt scared when I first played it. Because it's so damn dark and it's a maze and there's loads of monsters around. But then once you've played it a few hundred times, it kind of loses its scariness.
One of my responsibilities as a baron is that of a prison warden.
Okay, so now there's going to be a weird trigger. It's going to be some kind of monster spawn, I think. And that slows me down quite a lot. For some reason, if I pick up a rock, however, a heavy rock, I actually speed up. Dude, where am I? Oh, that's the staircase. Okay. Lost my way there for a second. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see it on stream as well, but the screen tends to be a bit messed up in that section. Probably because of gamma settings. Anyway, fixed monster spawn here. I'm going to try and have him punch me, and miss, of course. And then run towards a flashback trigger. Because as before, flashbacks make monsters ignore you. So now he just walks off, as if I don't even exist. Pitch black room here.
You're just making things worse.
But fortunately, I just have to walk in a straight line.
No place for a young girl all by herself. She could be hurt or worse. There's no
It's actually possible to reach this tunnel from out of bounds as well. But if you don't have the hammer and the chisel, you can't do anything with it. You actually have to open up the gap. Sadly. Would have been fun. Yeah, there's actually quite a few out-of-bounds strats that we just don't use because it's not fast enough.
Mother, I don't want to leave without you. Hurry, Jack. You must go.
This room, however, has a pretty major skip in it.
Tell him to alert the king's men.
First of all, I have to kind of break down this wall in a very specific way,
Please, we don't have time.
because otherwise the rocks get stuck, as they just did anyway. They kind of, I don't know, clip inside the wall or something.
Hurry. I'll come
Something weird.
to bed. Everything will be fine. I promise.
That's really damn dark, isn't it?
You're like invisible,
Yep.
except during flashbacks.
Okay, so every time there's a pile of rubble in this game, you can clip out of bounds. There are very few exceptions, so there's always a specific spot that you kind of have to jump into. Wow. Okay, let's see. Come on. I'm partly out of bounds already, just need to clip all the way through. This is actually a really easy clip, so it should be going. It should be happening straight away. There we go, we're out of bounds. For those who've played the game, you remember what you have to do here. There's loads of monster encounters, there's... you have to run through this entire maze like 2 or 3 times just to open up this door. But instead I'm just going to skip the door and go straight for the exit. By the way, it's pretty damn easy to actually miss the door, the exit door, whenever you're falling down like that. So you always have to be careful with it, that you actually hit it, that you're not too far away and stuff. Another major skip coming up here. I'm going to use this corner to boost my way up onto this ledge. I don't know if you can even see the ledge, it's really friggin' small, it's right there. And that lets me go to the morgue straight away. Do you guys want to see the silly strats for the morgue?
Yeah!
Like this is stuff that you probably wouldn't do in segmented runs because it's just not worth it. It's fun though. Okay, so I'm going to clip out of bounds here. The way to clip out of bounds here is to just jump into this pillar. I'm a bit cautious right now because I need to turn around straight away. There's like a small plant. The reason why I actually don't like this strat all that much is because I have to boost my way up onto the ceiling. And the only way to do so is using like a section of this corner right here. It's really not reliable. And this tends to be the part where you lose most of the time that you could potentially gain from this strat. Anyway, running on out of bounds here, skipping some flashback triggers I think. This is a fun part, you have to drop down here pretty carefully. I'm perfectly fine, despite that sound of me breaking my legs. And then there's a huge invisible wall in front of me, and as you can see there's no floor. So how do you get past it? Well, as it turns out, there's one tiny little ledge, like 1 centimetre wide. Or what was it, 40% of an inch for you Americans out there. And you can get past it. I think this is the one actually. Anyway, gonna grab a potion here, that's just for safety because it's a single segment run. And here comes another risky part, because there's no floor pretty much anywhere. And now I have to boost my way all the way to the top here. Pillars tend to be kind of broken in this game. Ah, damn. So I got the initial boost, but it wasn't high enough, unfortunately. Let's see, I'm going to reload the game and try it again.
Quick
Just for
update,
that.
guys. Quick, just a few seconds here. We are the number 2 most viewers on Twitch right now.
Nice.
We are at, when I reached at 22,435.
That's crazy.
That's a lot for this time of night.
Yeah, because it's kind of like graveyard time, isn't it?
Getting there.
Getting close at least, yeah. I'm going to try the strat one more time. If it doesn't work out, I'll just go with the normal strats. They're less entertaining, I guess, but should still be fun enough. This friggin' boost. Okay, I made it to the top during the flashback. But yeah, if you would perform this perfectly, I think you save 2 seconds with this strat, but like I've only had it happen once that I actually got through the entire room perfectly. In particular, this section tends to be a pain in the ass, where you get past the invisible wall, because doing this quickly is just horrible. Okay, so let's try the boost again. I have to jump across here, like this, and then use the pillar. So let's try and line up correctly. Hello there.
Sorry, I'm looking for my backpack.
Okay, we made it to the top this time. Now I need to jump across. I'm gonna break my legs in the process, but that's fine. And we're gonna clip back inbounds now, actually. And the only way to do so properly is to just jump into the door frame, and somehow that pushes you through. I'm gonna combine this needle, drill in this guy's head, because that's what you do with random corpses you find, and then stab myself with the needle as well, because it seems like a sensible thing to do. Now, if you reach this door fast enough, nothing will spawn. Like, there's no monster, nothing tries to break down the door, you just make it through instantly.
Do you see it? I sealed it.
Another big skip coming up here, after some creepy red shadow. This is random, by the way. So.
Let's get this out of here so we can get some peace.
Yes, let's.
This trick used to be a major run killer, but there is a setup for it now, and hopefully I can get it straight. Should be able to. Actually, I'm going to try and go for the risky clip first, which I actually got.
Let's get going.
Yeah, this is like extremely unlikely to get during a flashback, so that's pretty damn cool. Now I just need to be careful that I don't die. Okay, there we go. Drop down here, and open up the door from the other side. You might have noticed that I didn't actually drain the sewers. There's loads of water on the other side, but once you actually enter the sewers, it's all perfectly fine, no issues. It's going to be a creepy monster spawn over here, but as it turns out, it's actually fake. So he's just going to change into smoke and disappear. This is probably one of the hardest areas in the entire game, because there's two nasty tricks, and both of them can go horribly wrong. This is the only area where I'll make a safety save as well. First of all, okay, I got the first trick, that's good. This pile of rubble, you just run into it and then turn right, and sometimes it will push you to the left and you fall through this water, because there is no actual water, it just looks like it. You fall through and you die. Sometimes you get stuck inside of one of these rocks, and I got the best case where I actually just clipped through the rocks themselves without any issues. Okay, so this is where I'm going to make the safety save just in case, because if I miss this trick, then I lose like a minute at least. And it doesn't take particularly long to make the safety save anyway. Yeah, funnily enough, this game doesn't care where you save it, will just store your position even if it's out of bounds. Anyway, I have to get around this corner, and there's no floor here. There's just like the water that you fall through. So I can't run anywhere. So obviously there is a workaround for it. It's kind of tricky though. I have to jump on this little corner over there. You should be able to see it there. And then use the pillar over there to boost my way up, pretty much like I did in the morgue just now, except that this is in a corner. And then land on a little ledge that's sticking out of bounds, and then drop down onto this tunnel. And if all goes well, I will even do this without taking any damage. Like this. At the last drop I take a bit of damage, but that's fine.
I'll do the first try though.
That's first try, that's pretty good, yeah.
Just don't mess up at the end again like you did.
Yeah, like I did at AGDQ. So at AGDQ I got past this trick, like first try as well, and then I got to this section where you just jump on the railing and then you just jump forward. I actually fell off there somehow. I don't even know how. Yeah, those who've played the game probably know that this is one of the creepiest sections of the entire game. I won't spoil what happens here. To clip back into bounds, you just grab a ladder. And I jumped, I think, 12 times. You can do a 13th jump as well and hit the trigger. It's slightly faster, but it's very risky. Because if you fall down, right before this loading screen shows up, you're actually going to lose all your health. You're going to be barely conscious, which is bad, because that affects your running speed. Okay, so I'm going to try and skip the staircase here by just jumping, or not even jumping, just running into the ledge here. And if you do it correctly, you drop down like that. It's a lot faster than taking the staircase. Now this is a new clip. You just quite literally run into this wall and you're out of bounds. This is the spot where we used to do the shovel trick. Rip in pieces, shovel trick, you will be missed forever. Which is why I decided to incorporate it earlier on in the run, because it's just such a cool trick. I'm skipping a flashback by going out of bounds earlier, and that saves a lot of time. That's actually one of the main reasons why we do it. So, I need to hit that door. There's a huge wall in the way, no floor. What do? You have to jump around the wall. And let me check my health. It is bleeding quite badly. I'm going to use a potion for this, just for safety. So we jump around this. Okay, and we made it. I hate that jump. It always makes me feel nervous.
You landed on the inside of the door.
Yep. When you open it up, you somehow end up on the exact same side. So you go through the door, but you don't go through the door. It's, I don't know. I should ask this to a philosopher or something.
I think Danielle might have Alzheimer's.
The choir. Spooky area.
No, he has amnesia. Oh.
If you jump on the corners of these pillars, you can get a tiny little boost. It's like negligible, but it's still cool if you get it. So I always try to get it. What I'm going to do here is start collecting all pieces. It's just part of the storyline. I won't spoil it for whoever hasn't played it. Gonna pick up a load of them here first, just for safety, because you know marathon runs. And you can skip some of the creepy stuff here, like jumping around the triggers. So that's the first piece of the orb. I won't actually even be using the piece of the orb. It's just necessary to progress through the storyline. Because collecting all the orb pieces will trigger a special event. So, these pillars, they might look smooth, but they really aren't, and you can actually kind of boost on top, boost off them and land on this pipe, for instance. And then I use this pipe as a bridge. It's slightly faster than running to that bridge over there. And in addition to that, it also skips a monster spawn, or it guarantees that you skip a monster spawn. Whenever I run, you know, on the regular floor down there, I encounter a monster like half the time. I'm not precisely sure where the actual trigger is. I haven't checked for it. But the pipe is faster anyway. So, second room with yet another lovely torture device, and yet another ore piece. This time it's green. Bluish.
Is that a cow?
That is a cow. It's called a brass bull. And
Oh, okay, it's not an live one.
yeah, they put a person inside and then just set something on fire underneath, and it becomes really hot. It's nasty. Let's see. Ah, yeah. Okay. This is like one of the most trivial jumps ever, and I screw this up in every single marathon. I don't even know why. Oh yeah, monster spawn on the right. You can hear him. He's saying hello. If you whip out your lantern, he will actually see you and start chasing you. Now, I need to clip out of bounds. ASAP, actually. Otherwise he'll find me, and then he'll punch me to death. So there we go, we're out of bounds. He's going to be around here somewhere. I'm just getting one. Hey, look, a wall. Ha, I don't think so. Now, we're not safe just yet, because I need to boost my way up using this door frame, but door frames are kind of nasty, because they can sometimes push you back into bounds, and that's never a good thing. There's a risky strat you can do here, which is just running along the tunnel and then jumping to the left and hope that you land on this tiny little ledge. I'm going to go for the slightly safer strats, which is still easy to screw up anyway. So I'm going to position myself on this pillar, run forward, jump around like this, and then, you know, there's this little ledge here. Basically, you just have to go around the corner without killing yourself. Pick up the last ore piece, and now I kill myself. What I skipped here is one of the longest flashbacks in the game. I think it's one of the longest ones at least. And I don't have to walk back, because killing myself here will just teleport me to the entrance. I just wait for around 15 to 20 seconds until I hit the kill plane. The game is going to give me some useful tip, like they are close. I don't know what it means by they. Didn't really see anybody out of bounds. But hey, we're near the door. Hardest room in the game, pull forward and sprint. And then mash the left mouse button.
Is there a way to get around from this room?
Probably. I think pretty much every room has an out of bounds trick, if not multiple.
You probably just walk into a pillar.
One of the pillars most likely. Not every single pillar is broken. Like in this area, there's only one broken pillar, which is the one in front of me. This one. And, oh wait, this pillar is broken as well. This one. All the other ones are fine. Anyway, since I went out of bounds and, you know, entered the choir from out of bounds as well, I'm kind of stuck in this area. Because, you know, this door is locked. You're supposed to open up this door with some simple puzzle, but that takes too long. I can't be bothered with that. So there's 3 ways of getting out of this room. I'm going to go with the way that I'm most familiar with, and I find this one the least risky as well. I use the chair as a kind of a tool to help me clip out of bounds. So this pillar is broken. If you jump into it, I clip through the pillar now. What I want to happen is that I clip through the pillar and clip out of bounds like this. And then we just boost our way up using regular jumps, and hey, massive wall. Ha, no problem, I'll just boost around it with a bit of luck. And come on, there we go, we're up. And then just jump across it. Gonna go all radical Larry through this one. There's a wall in front of me, you can't see it. That's the one. You can just run through it. Okay, and so we enter the transept again from out of bounds. Ah, what a surprise. Tiny little trick over here. Push yourself through the pillar and jump and you'll get a small boost, and that lets me run on top of the pipe. The only reason why I do so is to skip a flashback trigger, which is right next to me. So I've skipped it now. I'll be triggering it later on, but part of the flashback will actually play during a loading screen, so it doesn't really matter then anymore. And skipping the flashback entirely on the way back would be slower. Anyway, 3 more orb pieces in here. I've picked up 3 in the choir. So yeah, 2 more left now since I've collected 1 already. There is a way of going out of bounds in this room, and it's not nice, especially not for single segment runs, I would say, and it doesn't save any time. It's quite a bit slower actually. It just looks really cool. But I'm not going to try it. It's really risky, it doesn't work out very well. It would let you skip this flashback, but the setup for the whole trick is just too slow. Sadly.
Is he alright?
He is one of the wicked. Don't pay his lies.
So yet another ore piece hidden behind some random sacks. And then we walk through the really dark corridor yet again.
That's horrible.
Yeah, so the flashbacks reduce your running speed quite considerably. I don't know the precise percentage, but generally speaking, if you could avoid a flashback, it's probably worth it. This is one of the few exceptions. Okay, let's see. Last one is hidden in here. So that is orb piece number 6. All done. Something's happening around me, but I'm not quite sure what. It's too dark to see. Anyway, flashback trigger. And now part of it is just going to run during the loading screen.
This one, prepare.
So again, same issue as before. When I exited the choir, I was stuck in this area. I was stuck in this kind of corridor area, and yeah, I'm stuck again because this door isn't opened. There are 2 ways of getting out of here. You can either suicide, screw that. I'm going to take the other route, which is jump into this pillar, or run into the pillar and jump, and clip out of bounds like that. Now, the reason why you have to jump is because there's no floor. You never know when you're going to clip out of bounds, so I'm really surprised that I got it first try. Normally it can take like 4 or 5 tries. If you don't jump, you just die. And the only reason why we're going out of bounds is just to skip this door, because I'll be going back into bounds pretty much straight away. You just have to jump around this corner, or just run off the ledge, that works too. Corners are broken from both sides, so in this case I could just run into one and flip back into bounds. And my good friend Agrippa, I haven't even said hello to him. And I never will, because he's going to lose his head soon. Okay, so somebody asked me to do some crowd surfing, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to try and do some crowd surfing then. Yeah, so by collecting the 6 ore pieces, you trigger an event in this room. There are 3 ways. There's 1 intended way, and there are 2 non-intended ways to progress with the story here. The coolest one I find is to go out of bounds, but considering that somebody donated for something else, I'll just mess around with the monsters instead. So these guys can't reach you here, most of the time. Sometimes they like evolve or something and they actually make it to the top here. Yeah, you can crowd surf by walking on top of them. It's really good fun. Oh god, hello. And 1 single punch just knocks you out. What I love doing in this room, but I actually accidentally fell off one of the monsters, is that you kind of juke them around long enough that you fall into this huge friggin' hole that kind of fills the entire room, and then they still manage to punch you anyway. So you like die from falling into the hole, and they punch you to death. And then you still end up in prison. Friggin' video games. But yeah, the coolest method is just going out of bounds and killing yourself by hitting the death plane, and then still somehow ending up in here, which I will never understand. Anyway, quickest prison break ever. Break the steel bars with your bare hands, and then jump through the gap. This is actually one of the intended ways of escaping, since you can use the pipe to grab the key. Yeah. Now, this is one of the few rooms again, where going out of bounds just doesn't pay off. In a single segment run at least. In a segmented run, yeah, it's worth it. Single segment, don't even try. That stuff is just ridiculous. You have to make one of these tunnels collapse. You can choose which one actually. I always go for the right one because it's like a quarter of a second faster. Since I'm already on the right hand side of the wall anyway. I'm being chased by a cloud of strawberry jam. Yeah, I'm just running away from it. It's nowhere near me. And once you reach a staircase here at the end of this tunnel, it suddenly just stops following you. You can actually stand over here indefinitely and it's just going to stick around there. For some reason the strawberry jam doesn't like the staircases. So yeah, we've escaped from prison now. It's time to meet up with Alexander and have a little chat with him. So you might recognise this area. This is where we exited the sewers actually. It's the exact same map layout, except that there's raspberry jam everywhere. I think it's raspberry jam at least. So we can do the staircase skip here as well. Just kind of run down. And if you do it correctly, you can avoid taking any damage like this. This might stab me, because that's what jam does. My friend the shovel is still there. Too bad he's not particularly useful anymore. My friend Alexander has lost his head. Ripped in pieces. Bible thumb. And yeah, despite the fact that this map looks really similar to the original version, it's a completely different map file. Which means that this version of the Chancel is completely different as well. It's, you know, the same layout. One major difference is the jam everywhere. And the bridge on the right is broken. Because that one was fine just a minute ago. There's a monster on the left, by the way, but I'm going to ignore him. And he ignores me. We each go our separate ways. Coming up is the easiest out of bounds clip. This is something that you can get on your first try, like regardless of whether you're good at this game or not. You just run into the corner and bam. Out of bounds. So this is the part where you normally do the orb puzzle, where you like assemble the orb. After collecting all the bits, I'm not bothering. That is not cool enough. I'm going to jump past this wall, or at least try to. It's a bit finicky here. So let's try this again. There we go. Made it past it. And we're going to skip this whole electric boogaloo thing by just going straight to the exit. It's a lot faster this way. So there's no actual floor over there, as far as I know, at least. So I just use a boost to get on top of that wall and then kind of run around. It's very difficult to avoid taking damage there. I think there's a slightly different route that the other runners have found, but I don't quite remember what that one is. So I just go with whatever I know. I'm going to close this door just for safety. Technically it's not necessary, but I do it anyway. I'm going to use my laudanum as well, because I need at least... I think the minimum amount of health you need is the wound is bleeding quite badly to get this out of bounds clip. Or actually, it's not even an out of bounds clip, you just run into a wall, twitch from left to right, and there you go. Suddenly you're on the other side of the door. Skips a pretty nasty puzzle, and saves you a lot of health as well. And so we reach the orb chamber. So I'm nearly done with the game, by the way, because this is the last room. My good friend Alexander is over here already. I'm going to pay him a closer visit. He might think that he's safe behind all those flames, but ha! If only he knew. There we go.
Nice, first try.
Yeah, I found a setup for that one. So what's up? Alexander? Oh, let's not look there. PG-13 stream. We can clip in time. And what's even more fun is just to boost your way up on here. And have a nice look at the entire chamber. It's even possible to get out of bounds in this chamber as well, but that kills me. And he didn't catch me. Lazy bugger. I'm going to knock over the pillars and then it's time. So get ready. And after I've actually beaten the game, I'm going to clip out of bounds anyway, twice. So this is the last pillar, and time. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's always difficult to say what an actual good run is in real time, considering that loading times vary and... yeah. But 44 is perfect for a marathon, I would say. So yeah, the kind of post-game section over here is kind of broken as well. But trying to get out of bounds in this area, you can tell that this pillar is kind of twitchy because I've bounced back and forth. So I think there's something you can do with that. The next area is broken for sure. All you have to do is just walk backwards, like this. Go through one of the side sections. As you can tell, there's nothing actually there. There's fake walls, there's a fake floor as well. So you just fall through. And this next area is broken as well, believe it or not. It's hard to believe with this game that anything is broken. Look at that crate. It's gone. And hey, I'm gone too now. And let's see if I can get the chair throw. I always try this. I've only gotten this like twice ever. I always pick up a chair here and throw it at the chandelier. Ah! Yeah. No, it didn't work out. They fell down as well. Yeah, that throw is my favourite trick if you actually get it. It looks so cool.